All right, guys, welcome to the call. My name is Sam Hidja. I'm a husband, I'm an entrepreneur, and I'm going to be your host tonight. And we're going to get right into it. This call is so important. And I actually talked about what we're going to be talking about tonight on my Instagram. And I made a post and I named out some symptoms. I'm just going to name out these symptoms. And if you have any of these symptoms, I want you in the chat box to name out the symptom. So number one, upset stomach, fatigue. Anyone dealing with fatigue? Anyone, just relying on coffee just to stay awake? I know that was me at one point. Anyone dealing with sleeping problems or food sensitivities? If you're sensitive to food, any kind of food, whether it's gluten, whether it's meat or whatever it is, are you experiencing food sensitivities? Are you experiencing cravings, especially sugar? Are you going in the middle of the night and getting some snacks? Are you craving things that are out of the usual? Are you dealing with unintentional weight gain or weight loss, skin issues, migraines, autoimmune issues, or frequent mood change? Are you dealing with any of those issues? If you are, what I want you to do is just type it in the chat box, which one of these symptoms, any or some of them, are the most prominent ones that you are personally dealing with. Okay, so we have sleeping issues, skin issues, migraines, fatigue. I was dealing with all of those, literally all of those. Who else? Who else is dealing with any of the symptoms that I had mentioned? Gut, not as much. Okay, stomach, skin, fatigue to the max. I think everyone to here knows someone with one or more of these symptoms. Yes, exactly. Gut problems so common in America, fatigue. Exactly. So, a lot of you guys in the chat box hit the nail right on the head. Those are all symptoms of an imbalanced gut. And, personally, I had been dealing with that for so long. I don't know, forever. And so recently it got so bad where I was in so much pain. I was literally crying on the bathroom floor, asking for relief. And then one day, my buddy reached out to me and he introduced me to this technology that creates something called hydrogen water. Well, this hydrogen water, I started to drink it, and almost instantly, all the discomfort that I had been dealing with, all of the issues, all of the symptoms, all the underlying issues completely went away. And so at first, I didn't really understand what was happening, but then I went deeper into the science and it made perfect sense. And so I believe that in this day and age, we have man-made problems with all the chemicals, the pesticides, the heavy metals, and all the other crap that is out there. And so we need a man-made technology to help combat all of those things, right? Because our health is the most important thing. So we need to do whatever it takes so that we can take sovereignty of our health. And so how do we combat it? We do it with what we're going to be talking about tonight. The creator of this technology, Dr. Paul Barrettero, he's the founder and CEO of Synergy Science. He has been a pioneer and a leader in the hydrogen water industry for over 15 years. He has labored to bring market cutting edge, science-based natural healing technologies to not only facilitate detoxification, but gut recovery, and also oxidative stress and inflammation, which are obviously the root cause to all disease. You can find Dr. Paul Barrettero featured in numerous TV shows and documentaries, and he's co-authored several books, and he lives with his wife of 28 years in the mountains of Utah. So everyone, please help me in welcoming Dr. Paul to the call. Dr. Paul, are you on the call tonight?
I am.
Well, thank you so much for being here and sharing with us what you're going to share tonight. I'm so excited. I know we were just speaking earlier and we have something very special tonight. So I'm just going to allow you to just take over the call and take it away, brother.
Awesome. I need to be able to share screen. Can you give me
Yes, let me do that.
gotta give me the power.
And 1 second. The access and the power shall be all yours. All righty, and you're good to go.
Awesome, brother. Okay, very good. Let's do this. Okay, can everyone see that? I assume you can. So Sam and I talked earlier and talked about the fact that we want to make a presentation, or he asked me to do a presentation tonight that was a little more simple, not so techy, not so egghead, not so medical. And so that's what I'm going to do tonight. We'll have a little bit of medical, but mostly we're going to use simpler terms, and we're going to use terms that hopefully you can resonate with and you can share with others. And so we'll go through that process pretty easily. So I think you all know who I am. Sam's already talked enough about me. Here are some powerful women that endorse and use our products. And so these are some great faces that have done some amazing things. Here are some males that are pretty amazing, doing some amazing things that endorse our products. And so let's talk about the fact that gut issues affect 90% of the population. This is really the bottom line. And for anyone that's wanting to promote our water systems, this is your conversation. This is the conversation you're going to have with those that you're talking to, because all of the things that Sam talked about earlier, it's all because of gut issues. So how do we get gut issues? It could be because of an antibiotic. It could be because of pesticides in food. It could be because of stressful marriage or relationships. It could be a number of issues that cause your gut to not function properly, what we call gut dysfunction. So however you get that, we at Synergy Science, we're going to help you fix that in a very short time. And I'm going to go over the principles that govern what we mean by a properly functioning gut. So gut issues affect 90%. And the thing that you will need to know is hydrogen can fix the gut. That's the bottom line. Hydrogen can fix that. So we want to get used to saying hydrogen can fix that. And so here is a study that shows us, if we go down into this study, we understand that you have two basic, and I'm going to dumb this down a little bit, where you have two very basic types of bacteria in your gut, what we call aerobic and anaerobic. Okay. And so anaerobes are what we want in our gut mostly. This should be 96 to 99% of the friendly or residential microflora are anaerobes, and only 1 to 4% should be aerobes or aerobic. The problem comes whenever we take an antibiotic, or we have heavy metals, or we have pesticides, and the actual tissue of the gut changes, we can get more of the wrong type of bacteria in the gut. And if we have more of the wrong type of bacteria in the gut, then we end up with our gut not functioning properly. It's kind of like if you put diesel in a car that takes unleaded, it's not going to work. Your car's not going to go anywhere. We have to have the right bacteria in our gut for our gut to function correctly. And so the water that comes out of our machines are the correct water to fix, repair, and to, more importantly, change the biome or the terrain of the gut. And what we talk about is just like the terrain that we live in. Some people like forests, some people like deserts, Some people like city and some people like country. Well, that's a personal preference of what kind of terrain, or you might say biome, a person wants to live in. So if you have someone who doesn't like a desert, it's going to be pretty tough getting them to live in one. They're going to maybe like a forest or something that's got more green plants, or maybe someone likes to live in New York City. Other people, you couldn't pay them enough to live in New York City. Well, bacteria are the same way. They like certain types of environments. They like what we call a biome or a terrain. It's just like it sounds. The terrain of the gut is all about what kind of bacteria will want to live there. So the water with hydrogen gas, when the hydrogen gas gets down into the gut, it changes the electrical potential of the gut itself, and therefore invites, and because the environment is more healthy for anaerobes, you can end up having health improvement. You can end up having antioxidant systems working right. And this is the most important thing that you can communicate to your customers, is that you're going to fix their gut. Now, how do we know we're fixing the gut? People that have gluten and dairy issues will be able to eat gluten and dairy. There's a person on this call right now listening that just a few weeks ago was not able to eat gluten and dairy for the last 9 years of his life. And after drinking the water for only 2 weeks, he was, and I was with him. So this isn't a hearsay story. I'm actually the one that gave him gluten. And so I said, go ahead and try. Let's do it. And he said, holy cow, this is amazing. So these are the kind of things that we know we can help other people with. And if you couldn't eat gluten before and now you can eat gluten, you definitely know that your gut is functioning better. And over time, it gets better and better and better and more and more and more gut function. And now your immune function is increasing because 70% of immune function is tied to gut health. These are the types of things you want to explain. This study simply proves that the water, electrolyzed reduced water, which has an ORP value of a negative 300 millivolts or more, is the correct water to help the gut. Now, oxidative stress and inflammation affects 90% of the population as well. And this is what causes disease. So guess what? We can say the same thing. Hydrogen can fix that. Hydrogen reduces oxidative stress and chronic inflammation, and therefore you have less of a chance to get a disease. Now, let's talk about the studies. And I'm going to skim a little bit and not go as deeply into these, but I do want you to understand there's 1,189 studies, 200 plus are human studies. That simply means that people are going to trust it more because it was human studies. You can go to hydrogenstudies.com and you can learn about the benefits and type in any disease model that you want to. And then we have to say the outcomes of the studies are never a guarantee for someone else having the same issue. But let's talk about it. Here, this is hydrogen being talked about as a selective antioxidant. So what that really means is there are antioxidants, and I'm sure you're familiar with vitamin C. That's an antioxidant. Well, typically antioxidants are called an antioxidant because they are an electron donor. Well, good news, hydrogen is not an electron donor. Hydrogen is a signal modulator. So in other words, it causes things to work correctly. And that's what a signal modulator does. It gives direction, it gives instruction, or it causes systems or pathways to work correctly. So this is what hydrogen does. And the reason it says it's selective is because it only reacts with cell damaging oxygen radicals. And that's what this study is teaching. And that's why everyone was really excited. Here you can see, you were talking about fatigue. Sam was talking about fatigue earlier. This is a study that proves the hydrogen water can help athletes not fatigue and have more ability of their muscles to work correctly. And this happened to be soccer players. So imagine for a soccer player, how important it is for them to be able to play the game and finish the game strong. Because guess what? The team that can last longer wins. That's the bottom line. If you can outrun your component, you're going to win because you're going to kick the ball into the net and win. So this is what we need to understand. If you can outperform your competitor, you win against your competitor. Here is cancer. This was particularly colon cancer. And in this study, it showed that hydrogen water had a very strong antioxidative and anti-cancer activity. And then finally, at the end, it says, in conclusion, it's the very last line. In conclusion, high content hydrogen water can inhibit colon cancer. Can you imagine if you had colon cancer? Wouldn't that be music to your ears that you could read something that would say hydrogen water can inhibit colon cancer? That's amazing. It really is amazing. And so for those people that you know that have cancer, you can't guarantee them anything, but you can say, you know, you might want to try hydrogen water because there's over 114 studies showing benefits with hydrogen and cancer. Here is diabetes. Again, very rampant. Some states are 20 to 30% of the population have diabetes. Again, if this was your loved one or you might want to know that hydrogen water can be preventive for diabetes, because that's what it says at the end. In conclusion, these results suggest that supplementation with hydrogen-rich water may have a beneficial role in prevention of type 2 diabetes mellitus and insulin resistance. So again, we need to be shouting this from the rooftops. There are millions of people that have diabetes, and there's millions more that are having diabetes right now that don't know they have diabetes. So being able to share with them, hey, you might want to get water with hydrogen gas in it because hydrogen gas has been shown to help with diabetes. And there's over 57 studies. This is just one. I just showed you a cancer study. There's 114. I just showed you one. Imagine you can help others. And that's what we're all here to do, is to be educators and to help others. Here is Parkinson's. Parkinson's is a horrible disease. You don't ever want to get it. And here you can see what? H2 supplementation of drinking water has been shown to exert disease-modifying effects in Parkinson's disease and neuroprotective effects in experimental mice. So this is huge. If you had that Parkinson's or a loved one, you might want to give them water with hydrogen gas. Here is simply an example of what happens in the brain. 3 minutes. Now, can you see at the top all the red? And you can see at the bottom far more green, especially in the alpha state. It's lowering the function of the brain, so it's not overworking. Look at beta, same kind of thing. Only the areas stayed red where you really want to have high functioning part of the brain, but the rest of the brain calmed down. Very, very good. Now over up on the top left, you see a 32% change in plasticity. That simply means the flexibility of the brain. Now, obviously, you don't want a hard brain. You want flexible brain. You want the brain to be flexible so that you can have it functioning properly. So this is simply an example of a doctor who had a 62-year-old female patient, gave her a glass of our water, 16 ounces, and this is what happened within minutes. It was completely different. And he said to me, Paul, it would normally take me 90 days of doing many things with this person to get their brain to this place. And all I did was give her your water, and literally minutes later, we accomplished this. So he was very, very surprised. So hydrogen helps everything. I've just given you some few ideas and examples, but hydrogen can help everything. But these are the 10-second answer that you can give. When someone says, why would I want to drink water with hydrogen? Number one, it repairs the gut, and that affects the immune system. Number two, it reduces oxidative stress and inflammation, which is the leading cause of disease. And number three, it increases cognitive function or brain function, and that also has a neuroprotective effect. So this is the 3 reasons that you need to tell everyone about EcoWater, because EcoWater has hydrogen gas in it. So we don't make claim on our water, we make a claim on hydrogen gas, because that's where you have 1,189 studies showing what hydrogen gas does. Now let's talk about the frequencies in the water. Not only do we have filtration that we'll talk about in just a second, we also put hydrogen in the water, which again is the whole reason we're on this call. But imagine we have the only water machine in the world where we can put frequencies into water through our proprietary technology, the Synergy Resonance technology. And all they need to do is register the device. And all they need to do right now is send us an email with their name, their email, and the device ID for their Synergy resonance technology device that's in their machine. We will get them registered, and then they will receive a second email to finish the registration, go ahead and set up their account, and then they'll be able to go to synergy-resonance.com and change their formulas and do whatever they need to do anytime they want. They can choose parasite elimination. They can choose adrenals. They can choose sleep support, menstrual support, coronavirus support, whatever it is that they want to choose, they can change it. And just to give you an idea, currently we have one plan that we call tier 1, and that's $19.95 a month. Now you're going to get the first 30 days to try it at no charge. After that, it's going to automatically bill your card, and you have to cancel, which you can do at any time, but you have to cancel to stop those charges. We will in future have a $29.95 and a $49.95 plan that are going to get deeper and deeper and deeper and do amazing things for you. But here is an example of the things that you have in tier 1. And this is really important because all these things are important. Now, what is water enhancer? That's 150 homeopathic remedies. So imagine if you want 150 homeopathic remedies, whatever your body needs, it's going to take from that. And the rest as if they're not there. Now, coronavirus support, that might be helpful for some people. Cardiovascular complete or heart by itself. Gallbladder, liver, pancreas, stomach, adrenals, anxiety and stress. We might need that sometimes. Skin, meditation, lymphatic system, spleen, muscular, brain, nervous system, lungs, respiratory complete, or we already mentioned lungs, eyes, bones and skeletal joints, kidneys, urinary system, Lyme disease. You might know people that have Lyme disease. Hydrogen is going to help them, and also the frequency is going to help them. Language of light, reset and charge. Reset and charge are the 6 power centers of your body, and it's going to give you power and ability to function in life. Stress balance, travel sickness, common parasite elimination, emotional balance, premenstrual, and sleep support. So these are incredible. Now, can you just imagine what the next tiers are going to be when we launch those? Oh my gosh, it's amazing. People are so excited and they bug me all the time wanting them, and I have to do better and get them launched here soon. But anyways, these are amazing alone. And this is something that I use every day in my life, and other people use and love them. Now, what do you get when you buy a system from us? If it's one of our machines, you can have excellent filtration. In other words, get the contaminants out of water. Don't be the filter, get a filter. Water that actually hydrates your body. And I have on here, just ask Dr. Marangel. We're going to have him on, and he will be able to talk about it because he started doing some little clinical studies with his patients. Every one of his patients in his practice walks out with one of our products, literally every single patient. And he said, Paul, last week alone, I had one of my patients, I did a before and after in a body composition. And what your water did for them blew my mind, because you're talking about pounds of water. Half a gallon of water went into their cells that was not in their cells before they drank your water, yet they didn't drink a half a gallon of water, but it facilitated the body being more hydrated, and it facilitated some inflammation going down. And he was just surprised and losing his mind, actually. But he goes, this is incredible. Now, it actually hydrates the body. Now, hydrogen can fix what? Gut, brain, immune function, and your energy levels. Frequencies for everyday life. Water is the best vehicle for frequencies because they are right in. So this is what you're getting. You're getting filtration, clean, healthy water. You're actually getting hydrated. You're actually having your gut and your brain and your immune function and your energy levels increased. It's incredible. So these are the devices. And I just want you to understand, we are the only device in the world, water device, that has IHSA certification. That means that we have paid money to have an independent third-party laboratory test our water system to stringent criteria that you must use distilled water and still be able to use gas chromatography to have half a part per million of hydrogen gas. Now, not only were we able to accomplish this standard, but we were actually able to dissolve 3 to 4, almost 4 times that amount of hydrogen Very incredible. And they freaked out. Even in our level 4 alkaline water in our ultimate machine, we were able to do half a part per million. And they said this should be theoretically impossible. You should not be able to do this. This is like impossible scientifically. And they're like, this is incredible. We tested it 3 times to make sure, and it did it. So please understand, you can effectively say we are the only true hydrogen water machine in the world, because no one else has ever passed this standard. Now, here is the Echo Ultimate. This makes 4 types of water. Filtered only for coffee and tea in large drink containers. Hydrogen water, 1.8 parts per million of hydrogen with no pH change. Alkaline, 4 levels. Now, how does that work? Let's say you start with a pH water of 7. If you do level 1 alkaline, it's an 8. Level 2 is a 9. Level 3 is a 10. And level 4 would be somewhere above a 10. And it's going to depend on the water. Acid water is going to go the opposite direction. Let's say you start with 7. Level 1 acid would be a 6, and then a 5, and then a 4, and then it could go as low as 3. Now, keep in mind, the reason we did alkaline and acid was not for the alkaline, it was for the acid water, because of people want disinfecting water. So this machine makes 4 specific types of water. It has 10 languages. It has a 7-inch color touchscreen, as you see. And then if you get the faucet to have it under sink, it has a 3-inch color touch screen. No other machine has these things. It automatically switches 110 or 220 voltage if you take it around the world. And again, it's countertop or under sink, and we have multiple finishes available for the faucet. This is the Echo H2 machine. It's the workhorse. It makes 2 types of water. Obviously filtered only for coffee, tea, and big containers, and then hydrogen water with no pH change for drinking water. This is very, very important. And again, this will do 1.58 parts per million. And remember, half a part per million is considered therapeutic. So this one automatically wakes up when the water is flowing. The one nice thing about this machine is if you do not have power, you can still get filtered water out of the machine. And of course, you would still have the quantum water, the synergy resonance technology frequencies in the water, even if you lost power. So that's one nice thing about this. This also can be countertop or under sink. And you see the faucet on the screen there. The faucet is available in 4 finishes. Now, there is a filter indicator, and you will have to replace the filter at 1,000 gallons. Now, I recommend once a year replacing the filter in the machines. This is the Echo H2 pitcher, and we are developing a filter assembly for it that'll drop right in the top and just have a 1/2 inch. It'll be a 1/2 inch taller or so, about 1 inch taller, actually. This allows someone to have a 1/2 gallon of water, battery operated unit, creating hydrogen water. You have to put in this purified water until we have the filter assembly available, and then you would be able to pour water in it, because there will be a filter to filter it out. This is the Echo H2 server. This unit is designed to go with filtered water. It has no filter. There's no maintenance on the unit. It's designed to work with RO water, distilled water, or at least a filtration system prior to it. One of the neat things about this is it can be connected to a refrigerator water supply line if that supply line is under your sink where you're going to have this unit. Now, I recommend that you have this connected to our Echo RO. It is the perfect combination. The Echo RO stands for reverse osmosis, and it is the cleanest water that you can get. And so it's very, very, very filtered. It's removing all the contaminants. And it also is a tankless system. You can see it right here. You can see the 4 cartridges that you would replace. You can see the black screen on the front where it shows you your filter life indicator, and it also shows you your TDS before and after the unit. And it does not have a tank. It's a tankless system. And if you go out of town and you're gone for 24 hours, for example, it will automatically flush itself for 90 seconds if you haven't used it within a 24-hour period. So very, very good filtration system, very robust filtration system. The Echo Go is a rechargeable sport bottle. It has Triton plastic. It's roughly 9.5 ounces, 10 ounces. It makes 1.88 parts per million. And you just charge it up with a USB-C, and you can use it up to 20 times with the 3-minute cycle. Excellent for travel. Now, this is our new Echo Go Plus, up to 4.5 parts per million with the 10-minute cycle. It is matte black aluminum accents, and it has not Triton plastic. This is actually a food grade polycarbonate. And so it's very, very strong plastic designed to hold the pressure. Again, you have to use filtered water with both of these devices, and you just charge it with a USB-C charger. So that is an amazing, beautiful addition to our line that you can have. Filtration. This is for the Echo H2 and the Echo Ultimate machine. This is the filter that's built in. This is what it's removing. You can see pesticides, chlorine, chloramines, bacteria, virus, fungal, algae, lead, nickel, copper, chromium, arsenic, on and on it goes. Very robust filter. This is an analysis for glyphosate, showing that after our filter, it's non-detectable. You can see heavy metal scan. You can see lead and how it's removing 99.7% of lead. I think someone needs to mute their microphone. And then this is finally our sauna, getting off from water. Just so at least you all know, we have a portable sauna that allows you to detoxify. It's basically what I call a controlled sweat. This is the Synergy sauna. Bamboo fabric, which is a renewable resource, replaceable neck collars, so that if you sweat, the next person doesn't have to get into a wet, gross feeling collar, and you can launder them. It comes with 3 removable neck collars. It's very light. We have a 110 version and a 220. So wherever someone lives, they can have a system for themselves. And it comes with a chair that will support someone. And so that is the presentation I had for tonight. A lot more simple than normal. I just wanted you guys to understand in a nutshell what your pitch is. It's gut recovery, it's gut health, it's the devices that can fit their lifestyle. So you want to have them choose the lifestyle or the machine that is for their lifestyle. Don't try to put them into a certain machine. Ask them questions. Make sure that you get them to personalize or to see which machine will help them in their life. Both machines, the Echo H2 and the Ultimate, have the same filter, so you have robust filtration. Both of them also have the Synergy resonance technology. And so hope that helps, and hope that's a more simple presentation for everybody.
Yeah, that was awesome. Quick, to the point, and just all the information that we need all in one place. I'm sure that there are some people on the call that might have some questions for you. So before we move on to the next part, which is going to be more about, you know, how we can share these products, share this mission with other people, and get paid mailbox money, which I'm sure a lot of people on this call want some mailbox money, where you just wake up, you go to the mailbox, or you get a notification on your phone saying that you got some money for just referring products to people that you truly believe in. But
Right.
before we get into that, I would love to just open up the floor for anyone that might have any questions for Dr. Paul.
Or even a testimonial. Anyone that wants to share an experience. I know I'm going to put Jonathan on Mr. Handsome Jonathan Rhodes there. Everyone can see him on the screen. He was the one that had gut issues for 9 years and had a pain in his side, and now doesn't have that because of getting an Echo H2 machine. So I'd love any, if he wants to share his thoughts. I kind of let the cat out of the bag, but if he wants to share his thoughts, if it was me who couldn't eat gluten and dairy for 9 years, and if it was me who had a pain in my side, I would definitely want to share it. So Jonathan.
Absolutely. Well, Dr. Paul, thanks for the opportunity to let me share a little bit of my story here. So yeah, I've been working hard on this for 9 years, working with all sorts of different doctors and different healthcare providers, and even being in the field of health and nutrition for over 20 years. It's something I was aware of, but I could never get the pain down there to go below a 3 or a 2, sitting pain constantly, no matter what I did. And so when, I was sitting in your office with you, Dr. Paul, and we're working on stuff, and I'm sipping on that water, and you're telling me what this is supposed to do, I'm thinking, this sounds too good to be true. Like this, there's no way. I've done everything. There's no way. but your science and what you shared, it makes sense. And you know it from the inside out immediately as soon as you start sipping on this water, as soon as you really start hearing what it's about. And, it took me 2 days to realize something was really, really shifting inside of me in a positive way. And here's my biggest problem, Dr. Paul, is I've developed a fear, a new fear. Right. And the new fear was I was about to go traveling, and I realized my Echo Go was my sister came and snagged it from me, and I was afraid to travel without my water because I didn't want that pain to come back. And I'm feeling so good. I finally, after about 2 weeks, I brought it to a zero, guys. Yeah, and I say I brought it to a zero because my body did the work, because I gave it what it was asking for this whole time. It finally was given what it deserved, and that was a fair chance to return itself back to its original state. And so when I was sitting there at dinner with Paul for your birthday, Paul, we're enjoying some yummy sushi, and Paul's like, "Okay, try some gluten." I was afraid because eating a little bit of gluten for me would knock me out of the game for 3-4 days.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know, Paul, I'm nervous to do this, because I might not be a good business partner with you tomorrow. If I might not show up, if this doesn't work. He's like, no, just try it. So I'm like, all right. And I was like, oh my gosh, that was the best sushi bite I've ever had in my life, with soy sauce on it, with this on it, with the deep fry. Yeah. And I was like, okay, I'm going to try some more. I ate one of every single thing there. And that night I slept in peace.
Yeah.
And I was like, you've got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
This is amazing. So what I've been working on for 9 years, you were able to help work out in 2 weeks.
Awesome.
And I've been working on it diligently because I want to bring myself to 100% all the way around. And I will be forever grateful for you and your mission here to bring this to the people. And it's you don't change your life in that form and walk away from it, right? So you realize there's mission here. And so you say, how can I let other people know? This is crazy. 1,183 studies, and how many doctors don't know about hydrogen and what it can really do. So right here, every time there's major change in the world, it's done by a minority group, a small group that catches the wave, that understands the vision, that has literally seen what this can do, and then brings it to the rest of the world. So hopefully that's an okay share with y'all.
Oh, it is. And I have a question. What were you doing this afternoon? That you and we texted each other and jumped on a phone call. What do we do? And I think he's on the call. We had an amazing conversation with an incredible chiropractor today in his office, and you were educating your chiropractor on all of this, and now he's on the call with us. This is exactly what we need to be doing. We need to be sharing our experiences. We need to be sharing our education. What people say is that they don't want to know what you know until they know how you care, right? Well, what else do they not want to know? They don't always want to know the science. They want to know what's happened to you. What's your story? Why are you passionate about this? And as a medical professional myself, I love to be in the science, and I love to talk about studies, and I love to talk about pathways and all this kind of stuff. And you know what people do to me? I might be up on a stage and lecture to 500 people or 1,000 people. And you know what they say? What have you experienced? After I'm done telling them everything for an hour, and I've shared 10 or 15 studies, even more than tonight. And they're all like, what have you experienced? And I'm like, okay, so none of that science mattered. You want to know what's happened to me. And I'm telling you all, that's what people want to know, is the individual experience and story. So thank you, Jonathan, for sharing that. And I'll get the time back to Sam.
Well, I was enjoying what you guys are talking about. That was just amazing, Jonathan. That was just a very powerful story, and I can completely relate because I wasn't eating gluten. I had actually cut gluten out this year, and after drinking the water, I also was able to eat gluten without feeling like complete crap. So I completely relate, and I know that there's a handful of people on the call that have had a powerful testimony. I would, if anyone else wants to share their testimony as well, we can open that up for you guys to share.
I know Michael put a comment in that he's,
Yeah, I personally don't have a testimony, but I got a few questions when the
Okay.
time is
yeah, go ahead.
right for that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just actually before
Uh-oh,
yourself, and
you're breaking up.
Brody.
you
Uh-oh.
We can't hear you, Brody. I think we lost you.
am I here now?
Yes.
Okay. I'm not sure how much of that you caught, so I'll just start over.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, no, to your point, Dr. Paul, I would actually love to just hear, a bit about your background and what has you interested in hydrogen water. How did you get started in this? Because you're an ND, correct?
Yes, I am.
So you must.
Yeah.
Okay. So what were you seeing, and what led you to hydrogen water?
So this goes back 18 years. And so what led me to this, there was two reasons. I've always been interested in natural medicine, and I was in the field of diabetes early in my career. I really wanted to prevent decubitus ulcers and amputation. So I had at the time a shoe company, and we were manufacturing shoes for individuals with diabetes. And I was lecturing all over and talking about diabetes. And so I became aware, and this was many years ago, like I said, long before the companies that are all around now that are doing alkaline water machines. I got involved with alkaline water machines way back when there was only like 2 companies doing it. And people were telling me all kinds of crazy stories. And I was like, okay, let me try it with my wife, because my wife was having serious medical issues, gynecological issues, thyroid issues, short-term memory issues, uterine issues. We were having miscarriages. She was very anemic. She would just faint at the drop of a hat. And so the reality for me is I was trying to do anything I could do to help my wife. I am in love with my wife. Anyone that knows me knows that I've been married 28 years, and I am completely in love with my wife. We are best friends. And someone asked me today, are you married? And I said, I'm very married. And they're like, I love that. I love that you're very married. I said, oh, I am 100%. So I was looking to help my wife. And in a 6-month period, my wife's menstrual cycle normalized. She no longer had the issues that she had. And I fully understood it was the water, but I did not agree that it was the alkaline or the pH of the water at the time. From a medical perspective, it makes 0 sense that could be even plausible, but I didn't have any other answer. And so I spent, up until around 2008, 2009, I spent researching and trying to figure out what the heck the mechanism that healed my wife was. And I figured out finally it was hydrogen. And so by that time, I was a COO and VP of sales with the main water company selling alkaline water machines. And at the time, this was prior to Kangen being a company, but we had an 80% market share in 40 countries, and we were shipping thousands of machines a month. And I exited the company, and my partners were like, are you crazy? And I said, no, I'm not crazy. People will say I am, but I'm not. I really want to talk about hydrogen. And if you guys refuse to talk about hydrogen, I'm out. And so I exited that company and ended up starting Synergy Science in 2009, and then really started in 2011. And then we started shipping the first machine, the Echo 7, in January 2012. And so that's my history. That's what got me involved. It was really trying to help my wife. And after watching my wife be completely changed and be normalized, I said, holy cow, there's got to be millions of people that we can help. And so that's what I did. Now, at that same time I helped my wife, I began giving some water to the other people that I was in my life, the diabetes world. And I started seeing people have their blood sugar levels normalized in 3 to 5 days. And this was blowing my mind. I never saw this before. And I was like, what the heck is going on? This is like boggling my mind, and everyone else I would tell about it, it was boggling their mind. So understand, Brody, that it was a very real world situation that I could not deny from an anecdotal evidence perspective that it was helping people. But I did not know the mechanism. And once I understood the mechanism, oh my gosh, get out of the way. I wanted to tell everyone what I had learned, and I wanted to help every person's wife, right? I wanted to help everybody, grandmothers, aunts, uncles, whoever. I wanted to help everyone I could.
Mhm. Thank you very much for sharing that. Yeah, that's powerful. Similar to your story, I also had some of the other water machines, and just personally for myself, I didn't really find a lot of benefit. My friend was citing all these hydrogen studies and so on and so forth, how good it was for the gut, etc. And I was like, wow, amazing. Sounds good, Andrew. So let's get one. Again, didn't find the benefits in that case. This is where your machine comes in. It's so much more interesting to me. And then you've got also the certification, which is really good. To the effect of it being alkaline, I don't know how much of that is really beneficial for health. Maybe you can briefly speak about that. And then also another property that's generally promoted is the sort of microclustering of water. I know you did speak briefly to the hydration of it. Can you maybe go in a little bit deeper to that point, please?
Absolutely, Brody. Thank you. So microclustering, there's no such thing. It was completely proven false in the 80s. And so understand where that came from is way back. They were testing water out of electrolysis devices with what's called nuclear magnetic resonance, NMR testing. And because of the hertz or the frequency that they were taking a reading off the waters, they assumed the structure sizes were smaller. It was false. It was later proven false. I don't know why the companies are still talking about it, because it's clearly proven false. Really, it was just the pH of the water is what was causing the different readings from an NMR perspective. Now, I will also tell you, it doesn't even matter if microclustering was true, because what is the premise behind microclustering? 4 to 6 water molecules instead of 14 to 16 water. Well, how big is a cell, a human cell, versus 4 to 6 water molecules? It's kind of ridiculous to think that you're going to hydrate a human cell with something that's larger than it and then somehow call it microclustering. It would be like saying this is a micro semi, it's smaller. Well, it's still bigger than my front door, so you can't bring it in my house, right? It's going to knock my whole house down. So you have to understand, even though you call something microcluster, doesn't mean at all that it's doing anything. And from a scientific perspective, there was a Nobel Prize won by two wonderful individuals who proved that there was a aquaporin in the body. So off of every single cell, there is what's called an aquaporin. It's AQUA, aqua, and then PORIN. If you look up aquaporin, there was a Nobel Prize won on that. And this actually showed how water is absorbed into cells in the body. And it's not done in the way people think at all. And it has nothing to do with charges. It has nothing to do with any of it. The body actually separates the water molecule into hydrogen, oxygen, hydrogen for a fraction of us. We don't even know. We don't have a word for the time frame, but it actually is ushered into the cell molecule by molecule. So microclustering is not true, not real, proven false. And actually do some study on aquaporin. You'll be able to understand how water is absorbed into the cell. Now, as far as alkaline pH, there is no study you'll ever find, and there's no truth to the fact that a higher pH solution can help you in any way, but it can harm you. And that's the problem is, let's say that you have alkaline water that also has hydrogen gas in it, like you could produce in our ultimate machine. That's a benefit to you because you have hydrogen. The pH is almost unimportant to the body because it's not going to get through your stomach acid. Stomach acid is going to buffer it in seconds. And so the pH of the water is not going to survive. Neither is the ORP. The ORP and the pH of the water is not going to survive stomach acid. What is going to survive is hydrogen gas, and hydrogen is going to go from the stomach through the pyloric valve into the duodenum or the duodenum, and then into the small intestine and into the colon. The fact that you still have hydrogen dissolved is where you're getting the gut recovery from. The hydrogen itself will change the polarity of the tissue in the gut, and therefore you're going to have more anaerobic microflora. So just know that the pH of the water is really of no consequence. But if we have higher pH and no hydrogen, which is unfortunately the reality of other machines on the market if they're not being maintained properly, now you're creating problems when you buffer that pH of the water and you're raising the pH of the stomach, and you don't have hydrogen to make HCl. Now you're having acid reflux issues, and you're having digestion issues, and you're having other issues. So this is what's better about drinking water out of our machine. That is we're not increasing pH, but you have hydrogen to make HCl. You can regulate the stomach pH that you do have. And so I hope that answers your question very thoroughly, Brody, so that you can then help others understand that the pH is unimportant. If you have 8.8 pH water and hydrogen, fine. But if you have 8 pH water or 9 pH water with no hydrogen, now it's a big problem, because you're actually putting a burden on that person who can't produce hydrochloric acid, and you're forcing their body to produce hydrochloric acid because you're raising the pH of their stomach. And what is the pH of the stomach, everyone?
2.5.
Yeah, it can be a 1.5 to 3.5, depending on how much gastric juices or what you've consumed. So understand that there is no truth to drinking water the higher pH. It's going to medically benefit the body. And the final thought I'll leave with you is, what everyone needs to understand is, if it were true, I always like to do this if it was true thing. If it was true that the higher pH somehow changed your blood pH, right? That's what some people try to say. It makes your body alkaline. Then drinking one soda would kill you instantly. So you can't own one side of a conversation and not the other side. In other words, for every reaction, there is an equal and opposite reaction. So if alkaline water improved health, then soda would kill you instantly, because a soda is a 2 pH. Lemon juice, 2 pH. So you would die.
Hey, but it makes you alkaline.
Well, only because of the calcium, only because of the calcium minerals. Again, perfect example, Brody, not anything to do with the pH.
Yeah. No, it's fantastic. You've answered the question beautifully.
Yeah.
I've got one very quick question which I'll leave you
Yes.
with, and I want to get out of the way because I know I'm sure other people probably do as
Sure.
well.
No problem.
Maybe I can grab your email afterwards. Now I'd love to chat more. To Jonathan's point, he had mentioned after drinking the water for a couple of weeks, he had felt much better, and
Yeah.
then he kind of developed this sort of fear, as he put it, of leaving the house without the water. Fair enough. My assumption would be that the goal really is to, of course, create the conditions in the gut, then for the gut to actually be able to repopulate with the healthy bacteria. So my question is, how long do you think it would take for the bacteria to really begin repopulating, and to the point where, you can leave, maybe go to Europe for 3 weeks without your water if maybe you forgot it at home or something, and not have any reactions? How long do you think that would take for the gut to repopulate?
He may be able to go now. But I would say it's going to be individual. It's going to be based on their own tissue in the gut, their own bacteria, what his diet is. For example, if he's eating food with glyphosate in it, you're going to be destroying the gut. And if he goes off on a vacation and starts eating food that's destroying his gut, and he doesn't have the water to rebuild the gut, he could start having some damage done. If he's only 2 weeks in and he is, just freshly new, having his gut repaired. But the truth of the matter is, it is repairing the gut, and it's not just a Band-Aid. The water is actually repairing, and it is actually changing the epithelial tissue of the gut, and it is actually changing the terrain. And so it is a permanent change. It is not a Band-Aid. It's not a short-lived thing. So what you're selling people isn't a Band-Aid. It is a repair. But if people eat foods with heavy metals and pesticides and all kinds of stuff in them, it can damage the gut again. And so that's why we want them continuing to drink the water. It's not a one-time fix all, but I do recommend people having the Echo Go for traveling. If you were only gone a few days, 3 to 5 days, you could have some residual signal modulation going on. If you are gone for 3 weeks, like you're talking about, then you might want to take an Echo Go with you for sure.
Mhm. Okay. Thank you for your time, Dr. Paul.
Thank you, Brody. And my email is paul@synergyscience.com.
Fantastic. Thank you. Let me choke.
Yep. Okay. Any other questions or thoughts or what have you? Nope.
Hey, my name is Michael. I'll just chime in here really quick.
Thanks.
Hydrogen water for me, I've only been using it briefly for about a month, and had the opportunity to work with Paul at Synergy Sciences in Pleasant Grove. And athletically, I do endurance athletics, and it's been amazing to see the results of just performance-based results of running a mile without hydrogen water and then running a mile with it, and seeing that shaves off 1.5 minutes of my run time, that's a big deal. So
Yeah, it
I'm
is.
excited to see what else it can do and what I can do to experiment
Is
with
that
it.
on a
But
mile?
yeah, mile run
A
time.
minute and a half. That's pretty good, man.
Yeah. So I was running roughly 5:25 to 5:30 mile, and it got me really close to 4-minute mile.
Wow. Well done.
Yeah, thank you. But thank you, Paul.
Michael's our new athlete. Woohoo!
Yeah, I'm excited. This is exciting stuff.
And guys, you're not talking about like a weekend warrior. Michael has sponsorships from some large companies that actually sponsor him as an athlete. So he's I mean, I don't know that I could run a 5-minute mile, let alone a 4-minute mile. But I'd have to have something chasing me that was really scary. So anyways, just know that Michael's a rock star. Thanks, Michael, for sharing.
Yeah, thank you. My expertise is obstacle course racing. I'm just a big kid, and obstacle course racing is fun, and it's an analogy of life, because there's obstacles all throughout our life. So thanks, Paul.
Okay, well, thank you. Yeah, so that's awesome. So you're like those shows where they get knocked off into the water?
I think he's talking about like Tough Mudder and stuff, not Wipeout.
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah, Tough Mudder. Okay, that,
yeah.
yeah.
So the Spartan
Yeah, that-
race, Ninja
Oh,
Warrior.
the Spartan race. Yeah, that's some crazy stuff, dude. Oh my gosh, that's
Yeah,
incredible.
it's fun.
Well, thank you,
I'll try one
Michael.
if you haven't.
I will. Maybe when I grow up, I want to be like you.
Well, I do training, so if you need help training, let me know.
That's awesome. All right. Anyone else? Otherwise, I'm going to turn it back to Amazing Sam. 1, 2, 3. I think we're good. Anything in the chats? Can't wait for my Dr. Harada says, can't wait for my proctor arrive. Thank you, Dr. Harada. Incredible story. I agree. Michael's is an incredible story as well. Yeah, that's great. Awesome. Well, I am honored to be here with you. Please go and tell someone today, tomorrow. That's what we're supposed to be doing. I can promise you every day I tell people about the water and I spend time educating others. All that I ask, all that Sam asks is the time that we put into educating you, that you go and take the information we share with you and share it with 5 or 10 people, and tell them, anyone else you know that has these issues, you can change a life, you can change their life, and that changes your life. And that's what I'm here for. That's what we're all about. So thank you very much. I think I'm going to exit the call. I'm going to let you guys continue, and see you all next week.
Thank you, Dr. Paul. We appreciate you so much.
Okay.